Hello, my guitar playing friends. We're going to take a look at Urge for Going by one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time, Joni Mitchell, amazing singer, songwriter, and guitar player. A lot of her songs are a little tricky to learn because she likes to play in different tunings. However, this song, Urge for Going, is in just standard tuning, but with capo on the 3rd fret. So it's a good one to try. The song on the whole is pretty difficult, and I should stress that this is my adapted version of the song. It's hard to play exactly what she's playing because she's kind of finger picking all over the place through this song. So I have a little bit more of a regimented, planned way of doing it. That isn't exactly what she's doing, but will definitely enable you to play along with her and hit those most important aspects of the song. But even if you're not ready to play the rest of the song, I would encourage you just to try this introduction because it's just so cool sounding. All right, it sounds like this. Ready, play. Pretty cool stuff, right? All of this is happening with P, I, and M. You will count up the frets from the capo, remember that, so we are on 7 and 6, and I'm going to play those with my 2nd and 1st fingers. These are on the 2nd string and the 3rd string. Try this sound one time, just this. Talk about an icy quality to the sound, right? And since this song is about the transition from summer into fall and winter, then it's just a perfect sound for the subject matter of the song. Pretty cool. So this first measure, once you get this position, it's not going to be super hard for you. You're going to play that P, I, M, P, I, M, P, I. The next measure, we're keeping this position, but adding our 3rd finger on the 8th fret on the 4th string. And then thumb is just going to sneak over. Now I have a note there in parentheses because I kind of feel like she maybe hits that one, but not really, so leave it out for now. And it's because she's moving right then. So she may get kind of a thing when she's going back. So notes in parentheses generally mean, the way I write them, optional, or maybe, it's hard to tell, something along those lines. So playing the whole first line is something I would encourage you to do. Then the 4th string. You saw that time I even just started with this finger down from the beginning, and you could certainly do that. You can start with it up and then push it down, or you can start with it down. The 2nd line of the song we are shifting, but never fear, we're only shifting the same position back a single fret or half step. And then we're playing a very similar pattern. And again, another parentheses note because she's shifting back up here, and she may actually hit that finger, but it just doesn't come out. So you can try it or not. Then we're back up to our starting position on the 3rd line here. You do hear this in the part. You hear a little harmony note there, but it might be another guitar coming in playing that. So I have a feeling that's the case. But if you want to try to hit those together with like thumb and index maybe, and then just sneak up, or you could even try to just hit them with your thumb both together like this. That might be a nice way to do it, to kind of get that harmony. So you're shifting back up. That might work really well. Or you can just not worry about it. Parentheses note, right? It's a subtlety. I wouldn't worry about it at first. Then we're basically repeating what we did earlier with just maybe the tiniest of little changes, which are honestly fairly inconsequential. The most important thing is to get this PMI pattern over here with the right hand. PMI, PMI, PM through most measures, and then just getting this position and moving it back and forth between those 2 frets, right? So I encourage you to work on this riff, and I'm not going to do a play along video because Joni Mitchell's recording is fantastic, and it's not that fast. So I think you're going to be able to do it, but as I always mention, you can go to YouTube and slow it down a little bit if you want to try to play along with her. Let's turn our attention to some challenges coming up in the next part of the song. So we'll look at page 2 now, and I just have positions written out here because we're going to Travis pick this. Again, Joni Mitchell kind of just finger picks all over the place. She's kind of just finger picking almost as she feels it for different chords. I'm sure it's planned, but it's very much changing throughout. We're going to do a little more uniform version because it'll just be easier for our purposes. So we're going to start here in the same position that we were just in, and we are going to Travis pick. I'm going to use Travis picking pattern 2 right now. Okay, if you need to go review our Travis picking over in advanced concepts, more advanced concepts, go ahead and do that. I would do Travis picking 2. Or you could also do pattern 3 where you just start with your thumb. Remember that your thumb is always on the beat with Travis picking. So first position, we're here. This is where she starts singing. Then the next position, we're just moving back 2 frets. Then we're back up. So these are basically variations on A chord and G chord, but they're just a really pretty way of doing it. Then we move to the second line, same positions, just a little different order. Back up, back down, back up. That's what I would consider to be the verse of the song. It's really kind of one long verse, but, well, I'd say that's the verse. I haven't thought about this very much, actually, labeling it. The next part we might call the pre-chorus, perhaps, or the next part of the verse. We're going to a D chord. And now we're going to go to a C chord, but notice that I have us Travis picking, skipping over the 4th string. I think that works really well here. Back to D chord, back to C chord. Now one of a couple of spots that I wrote out a little version of what she does where it gets a little more complicated. I want to stress that if you want on these next 2 measures, you could simply Travis pick an E chord, almost choosing any strings. You could just go, and that would work well. But if you want to try this little pattern, I have my E chord, and then I'm going to hammer on my first finger. Pretty cool, right? One more time. So that's a cool little fill that she does right there. And again, not exactly what she's playing, but it sort of gets sort of dovetails between what I'm having us do and what she does and brings out the important parts, the important notes. As you start finger picking, you can start having a lot of freedom and trying different things yourself. But this is a good way to get started, I think. Then we're moving on to the next part. And you see I have a parenthesis note here for this A chord. Again, leave it out, just do. But here what I mean by it is, whenever we're Travis picking, if you want to, when we start with P and with M, sometimes I will sneak my A ring finger to the first string and go. So now instead of using M, I'm using these 2 in tandem, and I'm getting a harmony. So instead of this sound, I get this sound, which is kind of cool. So if you want to try that, I encourage it. But again, you could just do an A chord. Or a regular Travis picking, I mean. And then G, same thing. And then here I wrote A, but it's really like an A sus. So we do not have the 3rd finger down. And then we have another little fill. That one's tough. Again, you could just do A chord and you'd be fine. Or you can do what's called an A sus2, where you just don't have your third finger down on the A chord. That would work well. But it's such a neat little fill right there if you want to try it. Just take it very slowly, and I tried to write the rhythm out too so you could really see how it goes ta, 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 ta. Something you might want to try slowly. This reminds me of some fills we'll try whenever we get into some James Taylor type songs. This is the kind of stuff he likes to do too. Now this next part I would definitely describe as the chorus of the song. It's the get the urge for going and so forth. And you can see that we're kind of changing more quickly on our chords. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of Travis picking, but I'm just starting the Travis picking pattern and then changing chords. So ta, 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 and then ta, 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 okay, for that first measure. And then I'm just doing an A chord after that, but with a hammer on the first note. So it's the get the urge for going, and the meadow grass is turning brown, summertime is falling down. I forget the words exactly, but they're beautiful, so look them up. And then after we repeat that 3 times, we're going to go A, G, A sus, and then the third finger comes down again. We'll talk more about what susses mean at some point over in the theory section, but they're just these little variations on chords, usually where we just have a finger maybe lifted on or added briefly. They just give it kind of that cool little slight variation on the chord. This is a hard song. I hope that I gave you a version that you can work on if you're in the mood to work on kind of a challenging finger picking song. If it's a little too much, again, just getting that intro down is super cool. And you could even just take the chords that I wrote and strum them if you wanted to. You could just start with da 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 da. Or try it with a very straight Travis picking pattern that doesn't do some of the fills that I threw in there. So there's a lot of different levels of difficulty here that you can stair step into, and I really like that about a song like this. There's nothing in there that's just absolutely essential you have to do. The essential part is maybe that opening riff and just the beautiful words, melody with the basic chords. Everything else here is just arrangement and decoration, and you can take it at your own pace. So good luck working on Urge for Going, and if you're not familiar with Joni Mitchell's catalog, I highly encourage you to check out the albums Blue and Court and Spark. Really any other ones too, but those are 2 that are among my favorites, and she's just great, and I'm glad that we got to spend some time with one of her songs. So I guess now I have the urge for going, but I'll see you again soon, okay? Bye-bye.